it relevant for this application? So this is going to be also more of a public video, and I'm going to release it publicly onto YouTube. Why am I leaning? Because I'm also making it pretty informally. This is the backdrop is my bookshelf, which is pretty much chaotic, and I thought that I would just give myself this time to just talk back to some of the thoughts and ideas of Wild Zones and find a chair to sit comfortably while I do that in this. Or find, as I said, find a chair. So I'm just going to do two kind of interconnections here between what Wild Zones is, although you've got some of the background material around it being this kinetic overflow of ideas and experience. I think what I really wanted to talk back to was one very important experience in terms of Wild Zones, and the other is around engaging with some of the thought pre-Wild Zones that informed what this project was and how it has come to be. So about two and a half years ago, I was doing a site work in preparation for a project in Rosebank, Johannesburg, and I was on site with the actor and some of my team, and I was working with my camera, my iPhone then, and the battery died and I put it in my back pocket. Very moments later, the back pocket was cut open and the phone was taken out and disappeared into the city by three guys. The experience was probably the first time that I'd been exposed to petty crime, potentially dangerous in Johannesburg over the time that I've lived here. And of course, Johannesburg has its own reputation, but somehow I had kind of navigated out of that space for a very long time. My first experience was to kind of disconnect from the phone and from the experience, because there was a lot of information, as you know, in terms of record and archival work that would never be retrieved from the phone. So I was very depressed for the weekend, although I had to go somewhere and work and direct on a project that weekend, so I was a bit distracted. But when I came back on the Monday after the weekend and the weekend's work, I turned on another device, which was to find my iPhone, and it located a signal to a market, a downtown market in the inner city of Johannesburg, near the taxi rank, the Noord Street Market, or the kind of mall thereof. And I managed to get all the way to the market to locate the signal, and then the signal disappeared in the maze of shops. But my experience of that market was quite profound. The market is about 3 blocks long as a mall, as an arcade, but the market mostly deals in contrabanded cell phones in a way that is it's formalized. And I thought this was very interesting and quite fascinating that there was this kind of zone of informality in a space that had been legitimized by need and by community and by a series of phenomena. So that was the one thought, and I thought, well, how do we make sense of these kind of patterns, or can we make sense and reproduce the pattern of the wildness in positive ways? The second experience was around engaging with thoughts in a book called Pirate Modernity, which talks specifically in one part to a wild zone, and that is the words of Ravi Sundaram, who talks about the wild zone in that paragraph as this informal space, or this volatile mix of accelerated capitalist method and post-colonial energy, rupture, change, volatility, this kind of mix that occurs in a kind of site specificity, and these two things merged into the possibility of creating projects, ideas, thoughts, activities, and importantly, a book series called Wild Zones, which would cross various themes. And in this case, the first two books would be based on forests and fences and anti-traffic. I see that the time now is gone into 5 minutes. I'll talk for maybe another 10 seconds and say goodbye, and hopefully this video is enough to give one an introduction to me, introduction to my thoughts and ideas, to my background, and a background to what I think is a very important book series, because it's not only about the text itself, but what the text does and how it generates ideas and activities in the specific locale of South Africa, and further on, of course. Okay, I hope that's enough, and it's getting to 6 minutes, so I hope these thoughts are useful, and have a good day. Thank you.